I actually really love this book, but I don't really talk about it that much, but I think it has to be one of my favorites of all time. Today we're talking about The Bee Sting by Paul Murray. I read this a few years ago now when it came out and was shortlisted for the Booker Prize. And over time, I've realized that this is one of those books that I actually think back on more than I initially expected. So today, let's talk about it. So I'm usually really drawn to books that are weird or have crazy concepts, and this isn't that. It's about a family that is just like any other family, like yours or mine, and it's about their family dynamics. I think at the end of the day, though, for me as a reader, I'm pretty simple. If there are great characters, a good plot, or just some good storytelling, I'll love it. And in that sense, this book really has it all. So I mentioned it's about family dynamics, and at its core, it's about how complex we are as individuals and how difficult it is for us to truly know another person. How you can be so close to another person and yet not know so much. And Murray selects the perfect form factor for this type of story. It's a multiple POV novel where you jump between the different perspectives of the mom, the dad, and the two children. Sometimes I feel with multiple POVs and plot lines, you run the risk of some hitting more than others and others being kind of boring. Or even sometimes all of the POVs kind of blur together and sound the same. But here Murray does such a good job with these characters and their stories. They're all so unique and serve their own purpose. And at the end of the day, the characters feel so real and relatable. They could be people that you know. And on top of the characters, it also ends up being such a great read because Murray is a pretty incredible storyteller. He is so good at building tension that each of the chapters almost feel like episodes of a show, which makes this book such a page turner. I'm pretty sure it's like almost 650 pages, but I'm pretty sure I read it in like 2 or 3 days. I just could not put this book down because I had to know what would happen to these characters. And because of that, The Bee Sting actually is a pretty popular book rec from me to my friends when they ask. Because if you're in a reading slump, this will get you out of it. Or if you're trying to get a friend into reading and they don't really read that many books, but they'll gladly binge a TV show, this is the book for them. I will say though, if you are sensitive about certain trigger warnings, I would do some research before picking this one up. But that aside, it's a really captivating book with a great plot and characters that really come together in a way that isn't hard to follow and is just a great entertaining read. Still though, this book does leave you with a lot to think about. Like I said, I think back on this book actually quite a lot. I feel like this concept about how difficult it is to truly know another person, a lot of people can be put off by this in the sense that it feels very lonely and isolating. But I found it to be one that I feel really resonated with me. As a second generation Asian American, I grew up with a completely different set of experiences from my parents. We also speak different languages, understand the world differently, and it's pretty apparent to me that I can never truly understand their experiences no matter how much they tell me about it. And it also goes both ways. But that being said, do you need to know someone truly? What does that even mean? I think we're all on this journey of learning and getting to know other people who, like ourselves, are changing. And I think openness to that concept isn't necessarily lonely, but kind of interesting and exciting. But anyway, no discussion about this book would be complete if we don't talk about you know what. If you've read this book, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So if you haven't read it and want to avoid spoilers, now's the time. You should probably click away. But if you have read it, let's talk about it. Let's talk about that ending. So it's a controversial one. It ends on pretty much a cliffhanger, which is not too dissimilar from many of the chapters in the story. You're left in this rainy moment with all the different perspectives and plot lines converging. That could end up in 2 dramatically different outcomes. A happy family reunion with character growth, or the devastating destruction of the family. So I think it's pretty clear, it's no secret, a lot of people were upset about the open-endedness of this ending. And to be honest, when I read it, I was shocked. After I finished it, I immediately went to YouTube and read it, just desperately searching for any information or insight that I might have missed. And so why? Why is this the ending? To be honest, I'm not 100% sure. But I feel like in the book, there are a lot of these inflection points and decisions. Like with Imelda, the mom, her original partner ends up in a car accident, and that changes the course of her life. And in these moments, things can really go either way. So I walked away kind of feeling it's more about what you make of it and how you write your own story. But yeah, it was still definitely a shock. And I get that a lot of people find this to be a really disappointing aspect of the book, but it did feel pretty fitting considering that was how a lot of most of the chapters ended. Or maybe it's just that time has passed since I read this book and I'm finally at peace with this ending. But I have to say, regardless of that ending, I still loved this book. I really feel like the characters and the storytelling and the family dynamics, it really resonated with me personally. And I think because of that, it's a book I'll likely never forget. But anyway, that's it for today. Let me know what you thought about this book if you've read it. And if you haven't, would you? Are you scared off by the fact that it's 650 pages? Because that would totally be fair. But thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.